What's going on YouTube? It's your girl, well, your woman, Rochelle Tannen. It is August 9th, 2024. Let me start off by saying happy birthday to all my Leos. I'm a Leo. It's Leo season. And let me start by saying I have not forgotten about you guys, YouTube. I'm going to brief you on where I've been in the last few months. Um, I've since moved out of Philadelphia in April. Um, and shout out to Philadelphia, shout out to PA. But it was time for a change of scenery and to change where I was living for other opportunities. Now, while I left Philadelphia, I will say this: I earned my degree through Uber Eats at Arizona State University. Pitchforks up to my devils, my fellow devils. So I decided to move to Phoenix, Arizona back in April. Now, mind you, when I did this, I had to keep up my scholarship for Uber Eats. So I wasn't working because got let go and left my job back in October 23, and I was getting unemployment. And I had to fulfill the requirements of the Uber Eats scholarship, which I still had to rent cars, pay for where I was living, everyday expenses, fine. So when I moved out here to Arizona, I kind of did it guerrilla style. Now, I haven't been ignoring the YouTube streets. You guys should know me by now. I'm in that thing. And I'm going to segue into my move into what I've been seeing online about how rent's so expensive and food is so expensive and all these things are so expensive. Let me start by saying a few things. Number one, if there's a will, there's a way. Number two, you're not always going to live in luxury to get to where you want to be. When I moved to Arizona, I had to do it as a homeless person. And just for the record, the zone precedes its reputation. If you don't know what the zone is, just YouTube the zone in Phoenix. I went to their biggest shelter here in Phoenix, which, let me say this homelessness shit going on across the country is such big money. I'm a big money person. I look at things so much differently. And Phoenix has some of the best resources for unsheltered, unhoused, homeless, whatever you call people without their own keys, I've ever seen. I've been here 90 days and I started at their biggest shelter, which is, they just changed their name because their money was funny. The Keys to Success or something like that. But far more important than the shelter, their campus offered local resources that put me onto a great resource called St. Joe's the Worker, which offers transportation. They will help feed you. They give you leads to jobs, which I didn't really need because I have a really great professional background for what it's worth. I just needed the bus cards and things like that. They also offer transitional housing, which I'm sitting in right now, where out this program. And of course, you have to put up with some crap with every program, just like a job, just like life. You're going to have to put up with some crap. But right now, I'm in a very nice 2-bedroom apartment. I have a roommate, she works, and I'm able to save my money. You know, a lot of people have their parents to lean on, but there's people out here like me. My parents are deceased, so I have to get my Jay-Z, what he was saying, I got to get my Jay-Z on, my by any means on, wherever I'm at. Whenever there's a drought, that's when I rainstorm. So in 90 days, I was able to secure a job, transitional housing. I'll have an apartment in a month or two. Might as well kick back and save and pay some debt. I came out to Phoenix because I was going to attend graduate school, but I don't know if I'm going to do that just yet. Because truth be told, the job I landed here in Phoenix, I didn't even have to use my bachelor's degree to get, which my bachelor's is in mass communications and media studies. I love this shit, all kind of media. But my 9 to 5 is in insurance. And I only really use my associate's degree to get that job, but I'm very grateful for the job because it's remote. They offer pretty good benefits, and it's good for now. It'll give me time to get on my feet and focus on YouTube. So when I see these stitches with people talking about there's no jobs, that's a bunch of bullshit. Because Phoenix, if you can withstand their summers, they have crazy work here. Same thing on the East Coast. A job isn't hard to find if you look for it. Now, it may not be your dream job. I'm not at my dream job. My dream times in life, you have to take something that you don't feel is accommodating to eat. So when I see these stitches about rent being high and car notes being high and all this other shit, no. Sometimes in life you have to lower your standard to get where you're going in the long run. Now, I wouldn't advise anyone that doesn't have the heart I do to do it the way I'm doing it. But if there's a will, there's a way. I'm looking at people talk about their car notes, for example. Here in Phoenix, it's a pretty heavy drive culture, but they have public transportation. And I'm from the East Coast, so I don't mind walking. I'm from the Northeast. And yes, I've been walking in this 113 degree heat, 117 degree heat, using public transit just like I do, because I will never, ever, ever, ever pay $700-800 a month for a car. And if I am paying $700 a month for a car, it better be a BMW, Porsche, or something of that caliber. Fuck sure won't be a Nissan or Honda. And yes, I've met people of various ages paying outrageous car notes. Not only that, I like to walk because my grandmother, God rest her soul, always told me to walk. It keeps high blood pressure and diabetes off you. And my other grandmother lost her leg to diabetes. So walking is very important to me. So it doesn't bother me. Now, is it hot in Phoenix? Yes. But it's the desert, baby. And I highly would suggest anybody spend their 40 days in the desert. If Jesus can do it, I can too. But I'm getting through it. By the end of this month, I said if I can get through my first summer, everything else will be gravy. And I'm almost done. I find Phoenix to be a very interesting place because I'm used to being in cities that have major entertainers from them or actors, actresses. Phoenix don't really have that. But it's interesting in seeing how this mass media I love so much influences cities that don't have that, influences the people and the culture. But that's another discussion. I'm going to stay on topic. So when I hear you clowns up on the internet talking about how hard something is, when a lot of people, I just turned 44, a lot of people my age, last decade your parents had you, about since 2008, a decade and a half. You got to live with your parents. A lot of you have college educations. A lot of you have resources I don't have, my siblings don't have, and you still complain about how high shit is. Have you ever considered the fact maybe you don't need a car? Now, I understand there's some places in this great nation of ours where walking is not feasible. If you're living in, let's say, and this is, I'm not picking on any one state, let's say you're living in West Virginia. I understand the need for a car there. But if you're near a major city and you can't afford a car, like my late father said, if you're going to drive, you need to be able to afford to. Sometimes you don't need a car to get things done. Oh yeah, those pesky jobs you all are crying about how no one's hiring. That's a bunch of bullshit too. Have you ever considered to all these people on TikTok, YouTube, wherever, complaining about the job? Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you. Or maybe you're not as unique as you think you are. Maybe you should tweak some things about your personality. And you'd get a job just fine. Because again, I was fucking homeless and got a job. A decent job. It's entry level. It's not a job I'm trying to stay at for many years because I want to make more money because now I have a bachelor's degree. But I'm grateful for it. Matter of fact, I'm grateful for everything I've been through, even being at a shelter. Because I learned at that shelter, you know, a lot of the people at this shelter in Phoenix, which is very interesting to me, were around my late parents' age. And let me tell you, they're not homeless because of losing a job or something like this. A lot of those people, those older people, are homeless because they're shitty people. And they never saw the day that they would be in their late 50s or 60s. And now it's everyone else's fault. There's a lot of them are still using drugs. But it's coming from people my age and younger, because at that said shelter, there were young men there all day, every day, smoking weed, which is very legal here in Phoenix. Shout out to Phoenix again. Or whatever dope they're doing. don't want to work. The program I use, St. Joseph the Worker, again, they're excellent. They'll help you. They'll give you bus cards to get to where you're going. Hell, they'll give you gas cards if you have a car. They just want you to fucking work. They'll help pay for it. But a lot of those young men have all the time in the world to just stand there, like, just because they're in their 20s or 30s, they have all the time in the world. And let's talk about the bad bitches that are sitting up in a big shelter, a nasty shelter, because there's a lot of nasty people there. A big ass shelter with their butts hanging out, talking about who this is my man and this and that. Let me tell you something, ladies. When I went to the shelter, I knew what I was doing when I was coming up from the East Coast. I knew it was going to be hard. But let me tell you something. East Coast, West Coast, North or South, wherever I am. If I am homeless as a woman and I'm in a shelter, this is my way of thinking about men. Any man there, you don't need any poo-poo. What you need some coochie cat for? You don't work. That's for working men. And if you're a woman screwing some loser up in a shelter, you're really a loser and your life is never going to get better because you don't get what's important. And I've never, in Philadelphia, had really good resources, but Phoenix has excellent resources. I see this homeless thing here on the West Coast is truly big business because I think of things at a corporate level, and somewhere behind the scenes there's a lot of people making millions of dollars off these grants and these organizations and things. That's why one of the reasons why homelessness is such big business. Now, when I get back into this YouTube thing, which I am, because there's a lot to talk about, we're in a presidential year, and of course, since we're in a presidential year, we have a virus, if you know what I'm saying, flare up. We have Miss Kamala. She's maybe our next president. God help us if she is. We have our cities turned into crap. We have a lot going on. Not to mention, on a lighter note, all the many talented celebrities we've lost in 2024. And there's just a lot to be discussed. And I'm going to get back to discussing it with you guys because don't think I don't see you. I still got my 1,000. And I love you guys for that. Y'all know I'm negative and I'm hating, and that has not fucking changed. It's never going to change. And what? Speaking of, I owe you guys a story from Tommy Sotomayor from years ago, too. I said when I hit that 1,000, I share a story with you guys, and I'm going to put that together for you. But I want to do it right. And I also owe a YouTuber a response video from a few months ago. I would have addressed her then, but I was this close to getting that degree, and I'm a stop out. It's been 20 years. I earned that bachelor's, believe me. But I'm gonna address Miss Thing too, because I understand some black YouTubers don't like what I say, and that's fine. But I notice a lot of things I said 10 years ago, I'm starting to see people talk about today. So you don't have to like what I'm saying, but you're not going to get up here on these YouTube streets and be disrespectful just because I have a different perspective. Now, on that note, YouTube, this weekend I am going to be churning out some videos for you because I miss you guys. And again, thank you. I love you guys. I'm going to grow this channel because, like I said, and I take this approach in life. If there's a will, there's a way. And if you are a Leo, you know what I'm talking about. We're going to eat any means necessary and eat well on top of that. But on that note, guys, it's Friday night. You guys be safe if you go out. Make sure you make it home. This is Rochelle Tannen. I'm out of here.